All right, guys, so let's get started. So, just as you know, first of all, welcome. We do have this webinar every month. Typically, we have it by end of the month so that we can talk about all the new stuff that we have rolled out in Xenett. We are recording this webinar, so whoever could not able to make it, we should be able to share this recording with them. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and then we're going to talk about the latest improvements, the changes that we have brought in Xenett. All right, which is the screen. All right, I just started sharing. And guys, feel free to leave your questions in the chat. I do have my colleagues on the call and they would be able to answer it. All right. All right. Number one, a little change. Those of you who were using Xenett before this release, we used to have some navigation thing like the settings, help, this my account icon just placed here, but then we just put it here because this panel, the top panel, was kind of cluttered with so many icons. So just to make it uncluttered, we kind of change the placement for these icons like settings, help, and my account. It's just little change, but I know many of you loved it, so that was just a little thing. um, Another thing that we added was that the new template. So when we click on setting, when we click on templates, there is a new template that we introduced, which is comprehensive close. Previously, like we only used to have one template that was available, which was Zen monthly close. But then we added a new template, which is comprehensive close. This template has so many closing tasks with the checklist. It's very in-depth template. So a lot of you have requested this and we kind of made it available. So now you should be able to quickly make the changes, customize it based on your needs, and then you should be able to copy across all of your clients, right? So that's another thing that we made it available. Third thing is we changed the experience of how the closing to-dos used to show up, used to appear rather. So when we click on close, let me just open up this. Those of you who were using Xenett before, like we used to, when you click on any of the to-dos, it would literally open in the middle of the screen. It would take up the whole screen. So what we did was we kind of wanted to little, I would say, compact. So now you're going to be seeing the to-dos in the right panel, allowing you to kind of like not taking so much of the space. And we also organize information in such a way so that it looks neat and clean. Again, nothing like a feature, like not literally added any new feature here. It's more of we just changed the makeover, right? So that was another thing that we did with the closing to-do. All right. All right, so one more thing that we did was that in the comments, so when we click on comments, previously, okay, let me, I think, go back to the practice dashboard. All right, so two things we did with the comments. Number one, that the comments were not available, like were not accessible if you are at the top level. So right now I'm at my firm level, and previously I had to literally get into individual client to look at the comments. So number one that we made a change was that comments are now accessible at the firm level, at the top level. So now for each of these clients, you will see this comments icon. And when you click on the comment count, you would be then able to see the comments for that specific clients, right? Also, when you click on this icon on the top, you can also look at all the clients comments, like all of your different clients comments on one page. So that is like very handy, right? So that's thing that we made the change with the comments. One of the thing that we also made a change with the comments is that previously adding comment was only available once you are into any of the client. But now, even when you are at the top level, when you are at the firm level, and when you click on new command, you should be able to create or ask comments from the top level as well, right? You should just select the client in which you want to post the comment, and that's it. I mean, all you have to do, click this comment, and the new comment will be created. So these were some of the changes that we made with the comments. Now, while we are talking about this, let me also talk about this point where, see, again, right now, comments takes the whole space, almost entire space on your screen. So we also optimize this experience. We have not rolled out this, but let me show you how this is going to look like when we release this change later this week. So I'm going to take you to our demo environment, where when you click on comments, it is now show up something like this. Rather, right now it just kind of, as I was just showing it to you, it was like a little clutter. But now we made some changes. You kind of have these comments here on right panel, not taking so much of space, and then we also made some design changes here and there. So anyways, more to come later this week. But while I was talking about comments, I thought would just mention about this design change as well. All right, so that's that. Some little things that we did was that with the search. I'm gonna take back just a second. All right, those of you who were using smart search before, right? Previously, this add quickly filters were not available. You had to literally click on add filters, select individual criterias, then select this. So like now what we did was we introduced this quick filter feature, where the most used filters are now easily available in the front. So like at times, most likely you're gonna be selecting the GL account, right? So to make it easier, we are just giving those filters up front. So now when you click on GL, it is gonna directly open the drop down for you to select the accounts, right? So previously the process was little lengthy, where you had to select filters and then select from here and then from here, right? So that's like the process is quite simplified. So these are the quick filters that is going to be available. So that was a little thing, but huge impact with the search. All right, so that's that. Okay, one huge improvement that we also did for our clients. So those of you who are using client portal, we had made this change where like, see, clients, as a client user, if I'm responding to the questions previously, like I would, let's say if there's uncategorized transactions, I would come here, I would make the changes, and then I had to kind of one by one, as I make changes, I had to resolve them. But now what we have done is that as a client user, I can keep making changes. So for example, let's say I said that, hey, this is, let's say, office supplies. And then this, the class should be, let's say, accounts to. Then this customer job should be, let's say, this. Correct? Now in this particular case, what's going to happen is that I can keep making changes. Once I'm done making all the changes, I can just hit the submit, and all the changes that I have made as a client user will now be submitted to the accountant, right? So again, we kind of improvise the experience, where previously client user had to worry about submitting those changes individually, and at the same time, if they change the tab, let's say if right now they are in here, if they change the tab from questions from accountant to something else, they're gonna lose the work that they kind of made the changes, right? So like literally they had to redo the things. But now whatever changes that they make, it's gonna be saved, right? So if they're gonna come back, those changes will be saved, and they click on submit, and the changes will be submitted to accountant. So that was a huge improvement that we did with the client portal. All right, so that's that. With the transactions count, actually many of our customers requested. So when we go to dashboard, this transactions count, previously did not include the estimates and the purchase orders. So now, if at all you have a client that has purchase orders and estimates, you'll also be able to see the counts for that those transactions here, right? So that's again, I'm not sure how much that's going to be applicable, but I know some customers have been super happy after that change. All right, so that's that. Another thing that we did was like when we go to settings, then click on custom branding. We made this change. It says custom from name. All right. So whenever an email is sent to your client requesting feedback on the questions, the from name, generally it is your practice name, right? So in this case, if an email goes out to my client, it would say the mastermind, right? So now we have also given a field here, like you can here decide what from name that you want to keep. So in this case I might just say that, hey, I could say that questions from the mastermind, right? So when my client receives an email, this is what that's going to read. So again, I mean, this is not the best way to go about it, but I might just say like questions from accountant or whatever, right? So you now have that feature where you can customize the from name whenever an email is getting sent to your client. So that was one little thing that we changed. Then what we did was the bulk edit. Okay, so when we go to close and let's say we are looking at profit and loss or balance sheet, whatever. And then when we click on any of the account, so let's say we are, okay, this is a good example here. Okay, bank charges and fees and bank service charges. Now, both are the same thing. So if I wanted to move transactions from here to here, so I click on it. And then when I click on show ledger, I can see the transaction. Previously, editing transaction from profit and loss was not available, right? So if I had to edit it or reclassify it, I literally had to come here, use this search, pull up the transactions and then change it. So again, that was a long route. But now, while you are here in profit and loss, let's say I'm here, right? And then click on show ledger. I should be able to either change from here, like I can, if it is a one transaction, I simply click change the account and boom, the changes will be saved to the transaction. If there were multiple transactions, we also allow you the bulk action. So I could select the bulk actions and then I could say that, hey, I want all these transactions from bank charges to this account or this class or this location, right? So this feature is made available in the profit and loss and balance sheet, right? So I believe those of you who were reviewing profit and loss and really wanted to make changes, you should now be able to make it real quick. All right, so that was another thing that we made the changes. And I don't know, I also want to touch base, it's not a recent change that we made, but I still wanted to touch base this because I know many of you were not really sure or rather aware about these changes. Like we made the checklist and like the reconciliation available at the balance sheet and profit and loss. So what I mean by that is that now when you are reviewing balance sheet or profit and loss, let's say for any particular account, cash on an account, you wanted to attach a document, you click on it and you should be able to attach the document. You can also put in your reconcile balance, and then if you, instead of attaching a document, if you wanted to put the URL, you should be able to do that. The reason, and this is how we follow in our company, that we would ask our staff to literally attach some sort of working papers with every single account, because then it is forcing them, first of all, to make like it's gonna force them to make sure that they have literally reviewed every single account and whatever balance is shown here is actually accurate, right? And the second thing is that it's going to be very, very handy for me, like me as a reviewer. So imagine if I'm looking at profit and loss or balance sheet, I if I have any question, I don't need to go to my staff and ask that, hey, how did you come up with this balance or that balance? Right? I can literally pull up while I'm looking at balance sheet. So let's say this is a good example. Bank of America checking account. Let's say about 108 K. I don't really know whether this is right, wrong, or let's say I have a question. Now I don't want to go back to like my X drive or this drive and then find out the client and pull up the bank statement and then see, right? Instead, because my staff had attached the reconciliation in the bank statement, I can literally pull up, I can click on it, which will then pull up the bank statement, and then I can quickly check and confirm that, hey, this looks correct, right? So this is how it's going to be very, very handy. That's number one. Second thing, second change that we did was also introduce a checklist. So for every single account, when you click on that, you can write some description here or you can have some checklist here. So when you click on checklist icon, you kind of can manage it here as well. So this is also another thing that you can manage it here for, let's say for prepaid expenses or for cash in advance, you want your staff to follow certain instructions or certain checklist. All you simply have to do, just simply click on the task name. Either you can put the description is more of an SOP kind of it, and then if you want you can also write some checklist that you want your people to check it off, right, which will ensure that your people are literally following the process that you have established. So these were some of the major changes that we did with the profit and loss and balance sheet. All right guys, so these were the top major changes that we made in the month of November. Uh, Also, there are some more changes. I mean, changes as in the more new features and improvements coming up this Friday, which I'm quickly gonna touch base on that. I'm not gonna spend too much time on that, but just gonna give you guys a quick brief as to which are them. Okay, just a second. All right, so now when we are reviewing, let's say profit and loss, um, previously, so this is how it is right now. Like when you click on, let's say, any of the account in profit and loss, uh, first, let's say you click on here 3400. First, it's gonna show you the summary of all of the like buy vendors, previous year, previous month, and then if you like, let's say, needed to look at the transactions, you click on show ledger, right? So this is how it is right now. But now what we did was, when you are in profit and loss, we kind of introduce an icon. So whenever you put your mouse, you see this icon. So it's like when we click on amount, it's gonna pull up the transactions, right? When you click on this icon, it says view snapshot, it's going to pull up that summary, right? So that way you have an option like whether you want to see the snapshot or you want to open up the transactions real quick. All right, that's that. Another thing that we made change was that with the close, if I go back to close, obviously some changes for with the design here and there. I'm not going to talk about them, but yes, we introduce a strict sign off mode as well, where see, right now I can sign off on behalf of anyone, right? But now we introduce this option where if you enable this strict sign off mode, so for example, let's say if you go to close mode settings and then if you click on strict sign off, what this means is that as a staff user, I can only sign off the task that is assigned to me. I cannot assign or I cannot sign off the task that is not assigned to me, right? So we actually enable this. So if this is an option to you guys, if you enable this, then this is how it's gonna restrict people from doing that. We also introduce templates for questions. So for, let's say, for every new client you have some sets of questions that you want to import, right? So let's say I onboarded just a new client, and for every new client I have these 5 or 6 things that I always wanted to ask. Like I'm going to ask for let's say bank statements or bank access, I'm going to ask for last file sales tax return or income tax return. So any of those routine questions that you typically ask, you can now create the templates. And when you then go to questions, you don't need to create them one by one. Instead, you should be able to import those questions right from here, right? And you, first of all, like you can also, let's say if there are 10 questions, you can also decide which one you want, which one you don't want, and then you should be able to import it. There are so many other things, guys. I don't want to kind of uh, just kind of overwhelm you guys with so many new things. I know we also gonna be having a separate such kind of webinar in the next month. We'll be certainly going over all the details. And then you guys also will be notified when we release these features this week, right? So obviously you're going to be having more details by then, but I thought to touch base on some of the major features that are upcoming. So this is pretty much it from my end in terms of the new features. But I would love to know if you guys have any question, or you want to kind of learn more anything about it. Then feel free to either ask questions in the chat, or feel free if you want to like if you want to unmute yourself and just do it. Oh yes, Carissa. Yes, I know. Been kind of running behind on doing the part one, but will be available very soon. We are in fact revamping. We've been kind of making a lot of changes with the design and UI and UX. We kind of already in process of revamping our whole video series. It's gonna be available very soon. So, oh yes, Michelle, you should be able to document. You should be able to request the documents as well. Uh, I think most of the answers, most of the questions have been answered. So
This is Michelle. I
yeah.
first entered my first question in the Q&A instead of the chat. And basically it was in the comments when you added the top level comments. The question is, can you post the same comment to multiple clients at once, or do you have to just choose one?
No, right now it's just one, but I would love to understand the use case. Like, what kind of comments that you would want to put it to across different clients?
I'm just thinking about, specifics of like a month end close for a period where we might say, please make sure as part of this month that we request XYZ from each of the clients, or, I wouldn't want to have to go into each of those clients and post that comment individually,
Got it.
or something like, hey, the mileage rate has changed. Make sure that the client is
Okay,
incorporating the new mileage
got it.
rate, just stuff like that.
More of a broadcasting kind of feature where more like an announcement is what you're looking for,
Yeah,
sort of.
yeah, I guess that would make sense.
Got
Yeah.
it. No, absolutely. That's a definitely good suggestion. Let me make a note of that. Rutvik, if you can please make a note, we can certainly think about that and plan it on a roadmap. But I understand the use case now, so thanks.
Yep, you bet.
All right. Any questions from anyone else? And guys, just to mention, we work with our customers. So if you guys ever need any help implementing it, training your people, ask your people to reach out to us directly, and we should be able to train them as well. So just thought to mention that. So all right, any questions? If not, then we kind of all set for now. Let's just wait. Thank
I
you,
have one.
Carissa. Yeah,
I have
please
one.
go ahead.
This is Michelle again. Sorry. I'm
No
pretty
problem,
needy.
feel free.
We're just working to fully implement Xenett, for our month close and review with clients, and what that's going to look like. Is there a scenario where I could create the client version so that I could be both the client and my firm in a test case scenario? So if I choose one of my clients and I want to see what it would look like on their end before I actually give them access, do I just create a user with my email address and do it that way?
Absolutely. So this is what I would in fact suggest our customer. I think I said the wrong one. 1 second. I'm just gonna quickly. Excuse. And this is what we recommend our customers, that even before just directly start inviting your client, I would ask you probably just pick one client where you yourself invite you as a client user. So you might just use, let's say, your personal email address. So let's say this sandbox here, right? What I would do is that I would go to settings, go to client portal, and then I might just use my own email address, invite me as a client user, and then I'm going to run through the whole workflow. So I would then use like copy magic link, would just open it in a different browser, and then I have my Xenett user as an accountant user here. So it's like I would test it this way, like I would ask a question and then as a client user. So basically you can then test the whole workflow. So
Yeah.
that's number one. Second thing is that if you then want to see what your client's gonna see, you can always copy this magic link and then open it in a different browser, and then you will be able to experience what your
Mhm.
client's gonna see. So
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
all right guys, I believe that's pretty much it. See you soon. As I told you, feel free to reach out for any questions, and then we'll be more than happy to answer it. More new features coming up your way this Friday, most likely, and very soon. The December is like full of some cool new features also. So we'll kind of give you guys keep you guys posted. Stay tuned. Thank you very much, and we'll talk soon. Bye bye. Take care.